Good morning, folks. This is Father Walsh, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about this coming Sunday's readings, in particular the Gospel. You find that Jesus is in Jericho. Jericho is a beautiful little town, city, that's 7 miles south of Jerusalem. So Jesus he's actually on his way to Jerusalem, going through Jericho, and he encounters this individual by the name of Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus obviously was well known in the town. It says he was a chief tax collector and also a wealthy man. So being a chief tax collector, he was probably in charge of a whole district and had a whole lot of tax collectors under him. So he had a variety of different ways of getting money, and ultimately a variety of different ways of making him rich. And even though he seemed to have everything, perhaps at the end of the day he didn't have anything, because he desperately, we're told, that he wanted to see Jesus. In other words, within himself, he realized that there was something missing. And so we're told that there was a crowd of people there, and when Jesus showed up in the scene, we're told that he ran ahead of the crowd, and he climbed up a sycamore tree, which was along the route that Jesus was taking. Now, for a Jewish man to go running, first of all, and number two, to climb a sycamore tree, everybody would be looking, because people would have known him and known that he was a bad man, that because of his occupation and how he sort of used that occupation, that he would have been sort of written off by everybody. And so for them to see him climbing a tree, and they'd have to say, look at that clown, what's he about on this occasion? And so obviously we're told that he wanted to see Jesus, but not only did he want to see Jesus, obviously Jesus wanted to see him, because as soon as Jesus spotted him up on the tree, he said, he yelled out, and he says, Zacchaeus, he says, hurry down, he says, I want to stay at your house today, which is amazing that the people who were there, when they heard this comment, that says, "Who? He's going to whose house? He's going to that sinner's house." I'm sure their minds were blowing, and blown by the willingness of Jesus to actually do this. And so anyhow, along the way, or where, we don't know exactly, but all of a sudden, Zacchaeus sort of made a confession. He says, Lord, he probably says, I'm a wealthy man, he says, but I give half of my possessions to the poor, and for those that I have defrauded, and this was Jewish law from way back. He says, those whom I have defrauded, I pay back fourfold. And so Jesus said to him, he says today, he says, salvation has come to your house, has come to him, because he says that's why I'm here. I'm here to save the lost. So it's as I say, it's a wonderful story of how Jesus, he didn't go after just people who were fairly good or half good or semi good or whatever. Jesus. It's really what the message is, that Jesus is for sinners, and he's continually, in a sense, calling them back into a newness of life with him. So at the end of the day, it's a story about God's gracious love for each and every individual, including each and every one of us. So perhaps I'd finish with just the last couple of verses from the Psalm, which is Psalm 145. Again, it sort of sums up what we're talking about this morning. It says, the Lord is faithful in all his words and holy in all his works. The Lord lifts up all who are falling, and he raises up all who are bowed down. Amen.